Hi, and thanks for joining the channel today. I'll be talking about The Matrix Resurrections, or The Matrix 4, whatever you want to call it. And is it really that bad, as people are saying? I kind of get mixed reviews when looking online to see everybody's feedback on it. Some people that just absolutely hate it, pretend it's the worst movie ever made, and then some people that enjoy it. I haven't heard anyone saying it's like a fantastic movie, but it's pretty split down the middle where you get a lot of hate and people that enjoy it. I personally do think it was that bad. I thought it was not as bad as Wonder Woman 84, which may not be the worst movie I've ever seen, but it's in my top 5 worst movies that I've ever watched. I didn't really like any of it. So The Matrix Resurrections. What's to say? It's kind of a mess. It's all over the place. In my opinion, it kind of makes fun of the original film, which is just insane to me. It's one of the greatest films ever made, and it's the reason that this film was made. I am going to go into spoilers because I can't give my full opinion without talking points that are spoilers. So be warned. If you haven't watched the movie and you plan on watching it, stop this video, maybe come back after you watch it and had a bad time like I did. So, the concept of the movie is Neo, Keanu Reeves' character, is now back in the Matrix, and he only remembers it as a video game. So he made a video game based on the events that he lived in the Matrix 1 through 3. Most specifically Matrix 1. So he made this franchise. He's a game developer, and the game is actually called The Matrix. And this is where it gets real bad and corny, if you ask me. There's points throughout the movie where they're talking about making a 4th Matrix. This is actually in the movie. Like, they're talking about making a Matrix 4, but they say it's a video game. So there's a guy talking to Keanu in one scene, and he legitimately comes out and says, Warner Brothers wants us to make a part 4, and they're going to make it with or without us, so we might as well have it with us. Like, to me, that's essentially the director, the Wachowski, putting that in the film, because that's probably how she was approached. You know, that Warner Brothers said, hey, we're making it. If you're interested, we want you to be part of it. I wish that they said they did not want to be part of it, because there's literally no one could have done much worse of a job. Again, it's not the worst movie ever made. It's not. There's some entertainment in it, but it's not good either, and it's a mess. It's all over the place. If you had me watch the first Matrix and then watch this one, you honestly don't even need to see 2 or 3 to go from the Matrix 1 to this one, other than saying like, holy cow, what happened to this crap? You would never believe it's the same people. Like, I wouldn't even think it's the same director. It just would be like a made-for-TV movie or direct-to-streaming, which it was not made to be direct-to-streaming. Yes, HBO Max released it on their platform right away, day to day with the theater release, but it wasn't made to be that. It was made to be a theatrical release. But it comes off as like a cheap rip-off that somehow got the real actors. I don't think the Wachowski, only one of them was involved in it, in this film. So you don't even get both of them. And I don't think they wanted to do it, but they were like, hey, if they're going to do it, I might as well do it. And, you know, to me, it was probably a cash grab for the director. It would have greatly benefited if someone else did it, because you could take the Matrix story and build on it. So going back to the whole video game thing, and this is probably what drove me the most crazy about this film, is then they go into a room and they're discussing making the Matrix 4 video game. And all the characters in this scene are, oh my, so annoying. They're terrible actors, for one, unless in their script it said act like an idiot and act like a character no one would like. But they're talking about the original Matrix, and it's like they're poking fun at it the whole time, and it just kind of really irked me. The Matrix, the original Matrix is my favorite movie. It's tied. I have 3 favorite movies, if that makes sense. I can't pick between them, and it's the original Matrix, The Dark Knight, and Infinity War. And then very close to that is also Joker. And I got others that start going in line, but it is my favorite film. If I had to pick between The Matrix and The Dark Knight, it would be real tough, and that's saying a lot for the film. So they make fun of it. It's a game, and it's a very ongoing theme, and they keep using flashbacks to the original, which was a little bit of annoying, because using it here and there where it's needed, that happens in shows and movies all the time, but this was overkill. I mean, they did it so many times. It's like every scene they had to show the mirroring scene from the original. Probably because the original is so good and this movie's so bad that they need to put some good in it. That's my theory. Now, Keanu, amazing job as always. Carrie-Anne Moss, she did a great job in her role. And, even some of the new characters did good for probably what their script was. I can't fault any of them. Like, I know the actor that portrayed Morpheus in this film is a good actor. In this film, he comes off as an idiot. And I know it's not the actor's fault. And that's my next point that I want to get into. The character Morpheus and Agent Smith are in this film, but they're played by different people. And Morpheus specifically, it's just weird to me because they acknowledge the original Morpheus. There's a scene in it where they show Lawrence Fishburne's Morpheus portrayal. They have a statue of him. So that Morpheus did exist, and they really never give an explanation of why there is this new Morpheus, other than it being an NPC that became self-aware. It's the Morpheus character in the Matrix video game is the way I took it. But I don't, I guess that's the explanation. But it's just weird. Either you could have brought the original Morpheus back, Lawrence Fishburne, or if not, you just introduced this new character. It didn't have to be Morpheus. He could have just been a character that became self-aware, and he really didn't have anything to do in the film at all. Like, he approached Neo and helped him a little bit, basically copying the original film with the kung fu scene. But outside of that, like, this character had nothing to do with the film. It would have been the same exact movie if you took him out of the film. And Agent Smith, this character did have something to do with the film, but again, it was just odd, and then Neo in the film is very different. Again, Keanu, does phenomenal for the script he's had to work with. But it's like they took Neo's powers away. Even when he started to remember, all he did basically through the whole movie was use the Force or telekinesis or whatever you want to call it. He just did this through the whole movie. Every action scene with Keanu Reeves is him going like this and something happening. Like him using the Force is all I can think of. He's got one kung fu scene, and it's the one with Morpheus. He barely fights people. It's a completely different portrayal of the character than what we got in the original 3 films. And then with his power, and this is a pretty big spoiler at this point. I've spoiled a lot, so I don't know why you'd still be in here. By the end of the film, they made Trinity his exact equal. In fact, in this film, it kind of comes off as Trinity is the more powerful one. Like, almost like they allude to her being the one from the original films. And I don't like that. I mean, if that was your original intent, then the original movie should have been about Trinity and her being the most powerful one. People will say it's them together because the film actually kind of puts that out there and kind of makes that the point. But at the end of the day, the two of them together, Trinity still seems to be more powerful, even when the two of them are together. So, you can take it how you want. I have my theories on why that is, and I'm not going to go into that, but I don't know. So it's not a good movie at all. And should they have made it? I'm one of those people where that's a tough thing, because most people will say, oh, they shouldn't even have bothered with it. And that's easy to say after you watched it. But in the absence of the film, if anyone were to say, hey, they're making a new Matrix, I would be, heck yes, I'm all for it. Then you see it and you're like, oh God, they shouldn't have bothered. So I don't really go by that they shouldn't have made it, because you can't really, if you don't know until it's been made, kind of like Rise of Skywalker. They probably shouldn't have made that movie. They should have just scrapped, start over, and did for episode 9. But if you ask me any day, you want a new Star Wars movie, I'm going to say 100% definitely, even though there's a chance it may suck and be terrible and just be a horrible movie. That's the way I look at it. So anyways, plugging this in, my score for the Matrix Resurrections, I give it a 6. That's being generous, and I'll tell you why I give it a 6. The 6 is only because it's a semi-action film based in the Matrix universe. And I love the original so much that for that alone it gets 2 points. If you took Keanu Reeves out of it and it wasn't set in the Matrix film, like if this was the same film but not set in the Matrix world, like same script, same everything, take out the word Matrix, take out that it's a sequel to a movie standing on its own, it would get a 4 at best, and that's just for a few cool action scenes. That's it. Audio, I give a 7.2. There's nothing wrong with the audio for what the movie is. There's some horrible movies with great audio tracks, but it is. I watched it on HBO Max stream, which is always very played down. Like if you watch Godzilla vs. Kong on HBO Max, then you watch it on the 4K release, it's a 9-day difference on the sound quality. So as of now, as it stands, I give it a 7.2 for audio. I'm certain that will be a lot higher when the disc comes out, if I even could stomach to watch it again to review the disc, which I probably will, just to give a new audio and video score. But I won't review the film, unless I change my mind, which ain't gonna happen. And then video, I give mid-8s. There's nothing wrong with the video. Again, there's a little bit of compression because it's a streaming service, but it's a movie made in 2022 or made in 2021 with a lot of CGI. They did good with it. I'm sure it had a very high budget, so the video's fine. But overall, the movie, a 6. And again, that's based on just it taking place in the Matrix universe. Which, going into the movie, that's what all I expected was a bad movie set in the Matrix universe. And that's what it was, but it was even much worse than I expected. Because of the fact of how they kind of, I don't know, they just kind of trashed on the original. And that's what got me. If it was a bad movie and that's it, that's fine. But the whole quirkiness of it all, them kind of making fun of it, them continuously saying the Matrix, it's like they were breaking the fourth wall through the whole first half of the movie. And it's just so terrible and annoying. Neil Patrick Harris is in the film, and I think his acting was really great for his role. But again, that whole thing's stupid. He gets punched by another. So it's 2 computer programs, because it's Agent Smith punching him. So it's a computer program that doesn't feel pain, and he's in pain. It's stupid. It's stupid. watch it if you're a fan of the Matrix, because how can you not? You know, your curiosity at least will get you in it. But other than that, just, you know, call it a day, and hopefully they make a new one to save it. You know, I didn't like the third Matrix, and I thought that maybe making a new one would save the third one a bit. But I would watch the third Matrix over this one any day, you know, and I don't think that's very good. But it doesn't take away from the original still being absolutely amazing and one of the best movies of all time. All right, that's it. Bye.